Alright, let's see what Argath has to say. I did take a brief moment to double check my pronunciation of Elmdor's title. I think I've been pronouncing it wrong. The information I found actually suggests that title is pronounced Marquess. I'm probably not going to even make the effort to try to pronounce that correctly, because I'm not 100% sure, and I know even if I make that effort, I will fail. So we're just going to keep calling him Marquis Elmdor. My name is Argath, a knight in His Excellency the Marquis Elmdor de Limberry's household. A knight, you say? Well, truth be told, I'm a knight apprentice, as are you, if I'm not far mistaken. A fellow knight in training, then. I am Morbo Beolf, and this is Delita Hyrule, my trusted friend. Beolf? You're not of the Beolves of the Order of the Northern Sky, are you? What fantastic luck! A blessing in the midst of disaster. What? The Order can't help me rescue the Order can help me rescue the Marquis. It must! The Marquis is held captive. They took him hostage, yes, but he still lives. We must act quickly. Oh, wow, words are hard. We must act quickly if he is to remain so. Should he be killed, I will lose everything. You simply must help me. Please, I beg you. Calm yourself. Who's to say your Marquis is to be killed anyway? The Corpse Brigade would not have taken a man alive save there were value in keeping him so. Of that you can be sure. There's little the three of us can do to help, in any case. If the Marquis was taken hostage, Egros will be in an uproar. You can be sure of that too. Then before all else, we will report to Egros. Are we agreed? Agreed. We'll start there. There are too many characters in this game for me to do voices for all of them, because they're all going to sound exactly the same. To Egros! Hey, big brother. I can't remember the voice I gave him. I think it was a little gruffer. He was like, I hear you were decorated for your first victory, Morbo. They sing your praise from on high. You do honor to our name, my brother, and to me. I am glad. Comparatively, switching to that voice just makes it go even higher pitched. I gotta pay a little bit more attention. Oh, you would not seem it. I am. Forgive me. Your words do me far more honor than I have done you. No doubt word has already reached you, but the Marquis de Limberry's carriage was waylaid, and the Marquis taken. What have you a mind to do? I have already asked Zalbag to dispatch a squad in pursuit. These brigands must eventually come forth to demand ransom. That is, assuming the Marquis yet lives. I beg of you, Lord Beolf, lend me 100 men that I might hunt the whoresuns down. I also feel like I gave Argath and Dysadarg basically the same voice. Please, my lord, grant me means to avenge my fallen friends. Mayhaps your ears fail you. I said that a squad is to be dispatched. You are not a man of Galleon. Leave her affairs to those of us who are. But my lord... skipped one. Let me remind you, Argath, lest you forget your place. You are but another sword, not yet even knighted. Yes, Dysadarg. The two of you will remain here at Egros and serve among the castle guard. You needn't worry. Danger is not like to visit these walls. My own house was once respected as highly as House Beowulf, you know. At least until my grandfather was captured during the war. He turned traitor, thinking to buy his freedom with the lives of his friend. but his freedom scarce outlived his honor. He was not a dozen paces out their gate when the dagger found his back. Killed by some common squire, no more a knight than I. One of the men he betrayed later escaped and spread word of his misdeeds. My lord father would have none of it, of course, but he was the only one. Our bannermen deserted us, our reputation ruined. Now I just throw rocks into rivers. Suppose I had best remember my place. Your lord brother has no reason to lend ear to pleas from the likes of me. After all, I just fucking showed up. Delita! Pietra. God, I can't do quick switches and voices. My voice just gives out. Alma! Zalbag! Morbo, you've come home! It has been some time, hasn't it, Zalbag? I heard about Garland. They say you made short work of those brigands. Now you've truly the right to call yourself a Beowulf. Father would be proud. I won't tell him that you were more or less cheating. Thank you, brother. Ha! You certainly haven't changed. God forbid you show a bit of cheer on being praised. And you, Delita, do not think word of your deeds escapes our ears. Your sister's been so full of pride, I quite fear she might burst. Worry not. My seams have held. I'm glad to see you looking so well, Delita. And I you. Have you settled in at school? Yes, the others have all been quite kind to me. Would that we could speak at greater leisure, but there are duties that require my attendance. Rogues do not catch themselves. I understand. Good luck. These voices are all just blending together. Partly because I can't keep them straight in my head, and partly because I can't actually perform the voice I'm thinking of in my head. We received a note of ransom from the Corpse Brigade. What? They have the same voice. Something about it sits unwell with me. They are anarchists to be sure, bent on bringing down the aristocracy. But they fancy themselves righteous and prey only on the nobility and those in our employ. Would such as they truly kidnap the Marquis for want of coin? Why wouldn't they? They're naught but common footpads. One of the men I planted among them has not returned. I worry he may be caught up in something serious, but there are those who do not think some mere spy worth a search party's efforts. Where was he last known to be? A merchant city named Dorter in eastern Gallion. Guarding a castle grows dreadfully dull. Wouldn't you agree? Just gonna drop this super subtle hint, and then peace out. Later! Forgive us, Pietra. Seems we must be leaving sooner than we had planned. Don't worry about me. Just take care of yourself. I will. Mind your studies. I'll be back before you even noticed I'm gone. I mean, I won't. Because, like, as soon as I leave, you'll notice I'm gone. Let's be on our way. Pietra puts on a brave face, but the truth is not as honeyed as her words. What do you mean? She has a hard time of it at school. The others tease her for being lowborn, and they tease me because I can't fucking read. Forgive me, I shouldn't have said anything. I definitely shouldn't have said anything and stumbled over my words. I'm sure you have worries enough of your own. Pietra will be alright. I'm here to look after her. There is naught to worry about, but mind your own limits. You can't be responsible for everything. Says the brother who never fails to do any and all that is expected of him. Don't lose sight of yourself, Morbo. You needn't let your life be ruled by the fact that you were born a Beowulf. Now you're starting to sound like Mother. Ha ha ha! forced laughter. Well, see you later. Morbo. Can't believe they named him that. What a stupid name. Alright. This was something I didn't do at Garland, but you can go in and listen to rumors. Here's what the locals have been going on about. Here's what I've heard. Brigandry is on the rise across the land, and Galleon has by no means been spared. Wains are struck and pillaged, high-ranking officials taken at sword point. Most of the incidents of the past 6 months are believed to be the work of the company of felons and former sellswords known as the Corpse Brigade. It is oft said that the only good brigand is a dead brigand, and the Order of the Northern Sky would like not more than to see the brigade made corpses for true. I should read these before I start speaking so I don't get ahead of myself. But as yet, it is all the knighthood can do to keep the outlaws in check. The health of King Yondoria III has been a subject of concern since his collapse at the birthday celebration of Prince Orinus. The Board of Chamberlains has since announced that the king has regained consciousness and his fever is broken, but will yet require several weeks of quietude and bed rest in order to recover. Many speculate that it may be some months before the king resumes his official duties. However, Queen Luveria and her retainers have long been in charge of most affairs of state, and thus few problems are anticipated during the king's absence. The half-century of conflict between Ivalice and Ordalia is today known as the 50 Years' War. The beginning of the 50 Years' War can be traced to the death of Ordalia's King Divan III, and his failure to name a successor. His cousin, Veroy VI, who put Roman numerals in this, was next in line for the throne. However, King Dinamda II of Ivalice, the uncle of Devon III, proclaimed himself the rightful heir and declared war on Ordalia. However, this was merely a pretense to justify the invasion of the neighboring Ordalian province of Zelmonia. Once an independent state, it had been annexed by Ordalia nearly a century prior. Ivalice had since been aiding the province in an effort to weaken Ordalia, an effort that ultimately failed. Tired of Ordalian rule, the Zelmonian leadership and nobility secretly petitioned Ivalice to take a more direct hand in their liberation. This was a bold voice to choose. After a victory in Zelmonia, the Ivalician armies marched on the Ordalian capital of Viora. I am never going to remember these names. As fate would have it, Dinamda II succumbed to fatal illness on the road. The momentary confusion amongst Ivalice's troops gave Ordalia the opportunity it needed to regroup, and Veroy VI succeeded in pushing the Ivalicians back as far as Zelmonia. The resulting impasse would not be broken until the Romandan army's invasion 2 years hence. Romanda, a powerful military state lying across the Rana Strait, marched on Ivalice at the behest of Veroy VI, a blood relation of the Romandan nobility. However, Dinamda II's successor, Dinamda IV, was a fearless warrior. He also hated the number 3, which is why they just skipped right over that. Personally leading his men into battle against the combined might of Romanda and Ordalia, this, along with an outbreak of the Black Death in Romanda, forced the Romandan army to withdraw after only 3 years. Two military orders worthy of particular mention in this conflict are the Order of the Northern Sky, led by Knight Gallant Barbaneth Beald. You might have heard of him. He's already been in the game. And that of the Southern Sky, led by Sidolphus Orlando, also known as the Thunder God. We just call him Sid because there has to be a Sid in a Final Fantasy game. After countless victories at home, these two orders had been poised to advance into Ordalia. However, the protracted conflict had begun to take its toll on domestic morale. Peasant uprisings and revolts throughout Ivalice and Ordalia forced both countries to send their troops home to pacify their own citizens, resulting in another stalemate. It was Denamda IV's sudden death by malady that broke the stalemate, although some claim he was murdered. His successor, Ondoria III, was ill-suited to the throne, and left the governing of Ivalice to his queen and retainers. Without Denamda IV's leadership, the armies of Ivalice had little prayer of preventing Viroy VI's successor, Prince Leonard. He doesn't get a number, because who the hell would name somebody Leonard in a fantasy game? From defeating the troops stationed at Zelmonia and advancing into Ivalice proper. Despite the valiant efforts of the northern and southern orders, Ivalice failed to repel Prince Leonard's invasion of Zeltenia. Ivalice's leaders soon began looking for a peaceful alternative. In the end, both states agreed that prolonging the war would prove mutually detrimental, and a pact was signed allowing each nation to return to addressing domestic strife. An equal peace in name. It was in reality a defeat for Ivalice. The economy of Ivalice was brought to the very brink of ruin as it struggled to pay reparations to its former enemies and repay the loans taken from neighboring states to fund its war efforts. Soldiers returning from the front found themselves without pay, and entire orders of knights were summarily discharged from service. The swelling ranks of the unemployed did little to relieve the people's distrust of the crown and the nobility. That was a long-ass story. We're done talking. Get out. Yeah, can't keep doing that voice. This was another thing you can go in and buy super cool weapons. At the moment, I think most people have broadsword, have a mithril knife. Buy another one for the other chemist we have. That's pretty... no, it's fine. Oops. Alright. So we did a lot of reading. We talked with our family. We recruited Argath. Unfortunately, we didn't get into combat. We might here. Oh, I forgot there was an event here. This might be specific to the PSP version. Did you notice? Notice what? How am I supposed to notice if you don't tell me what it is I'm supposed to look at? The menu, you clod. Take a glimpse. The menu. Oh, right. There's some new words on it. Melee and rendezvous. What do you suppose those are? Yeah, this is explaining the PSP functionality that was added. So I'm just going to kind of skip over this because we're not going to be doing any of this stuff. But just imagine I read all of this while I rest my voice a bit. So he has the same three rumors, and then these two options are unique too. Alright, so this is the stuff I was missing. I didn't buy either. That would have been nice. Alright. So, you know, we didn't get into any combat, so I'll do one battle and then we'll move on to the next episode. Right. I wanted to get into position and completely forgot the fact that I bought all that gear and haven't equipped it on anybody. Our luck is ill that we should chance upon fiends such as these in the wood. Some of us prefer fiends in wood to a dull watch in Castle Garrett's, Argath. And some of us are not so quick to jape in danger's face. Enough talk, they come. I'm gonna beat up some wild animals. Big old tough guy. I always get that wrong. Oh, that's not where I wanted. That is a nice little feature of this movement. You can put yourself in a position and then before confirming that spot, hit cancel and choose a new spot. I do always like a little bit of an undo feature in the game. Alright. Who wants to fight? That was rude. I'm not even wearing pads. You can't tackle me. This isn't rugby. I had to think of a game where tackling without pads existed. Rugby was the only one that came to mind. I do think there is a mechanic in the PSP version of this where there's a class that can only be unlocked if the character has achieved like 20 kills or something, and those kills have to be the specific kind where the countdown on the dead body gets to 0 and it turns into a treasure chest or crystal. So I might take some time and just make some progress to that off cam. Now that we've gotten a little bit more flexibility and I can do that grinding, I might between episodes 3 and 4 here level up, do some of the Final Fantasy grind, and see if I can make my characters OP, and then we can abandon the gear that I gave them in the first battle, so it'll be a bit closer to a legitimate playthrough. But I didn't want to be lingering on the tedious parts, so I gave everybody a little bit of a boost at the beginning. And now I can go in and undo that and put in the grinding work to make sure everything kind of keeps moving forward smoothly. But we won! Now we're gonna loot the bodies. Alright. And now save. And we move on to episode 4. Hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. I will see you on the next episode.